Good evening and welcome to this year's Midwives College of Utah Graduation Gala. Tonight we celebrate 40 years of MCU and an incredible group of graduates. First to the graduates, congratulations. This isn't the event that obviously we had hoped for you, but we hope that tonight you feel celebrated wherever you are in the world. My name is Jennifer Rabins and I'm the current chair of the board of directors of MCU. I'm also a graduate of MCU and a currently practicing CPM in Northern Arizona. I have walked these same virtual halls, taken the same classes, struggled to keep up on the same assignments, written the same practice guidelines, all of the practice guidelines, and juggled school, home, family, work, clinic, and sleep to get to this point. It was not without sacrifice of you and of those around you, and it was not easy by any measurement. Please know that each of us at MCU is not only so excited for you, but very proud of you. If you've not had the pleasure of meeting Christy Ridge-Young in person, then you may not know the powerhouse that is the president of MCU. Christy has been the president of MCU for more than 14 years. She is also the former president of MEEC, and currently serves as MEEC's Vice President of Outreach. She's been a member of the U.S. Mirror Steering Community and was the founder of the Utah Doula Association. Additionally, Christy has been involved in the development of doula and midwifery education in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. She's an adjunct professor at Salt Lake Community College and a DONA-approved birth doula trainer who specializes in training doulas to support survivors of sexual abuse. Christy is dedicated to the growth of midwifery and midwifery education, driven to improve the quality of care in the United States, and compassionate to the struggles of each one of us. She's also a pleasure to hear speak. So without further ado, I will pass tonight's baton on to our president, Christy Ridge.
Thank you, Jen, for that gracious introduction. I had no idea that seeing you all come in would make me cry. I worked hard on my makeup and now all I have to wipe my eyes with is this darn face mask. But it's so wonderful to see so many of you here tonight. Your name, your faces, and this is not going to go well if I can't get a hold of myself. Welcome to the MCU Board of Directors, our graduates family and friends, MCU faculty, our preceptors and staff. And I'd also like to give a special welcome to the MEEC Executive Director. I see that she has joined us tonight. Usually our graduation gala is a live event in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I cry then too. But usually not till the end. And we have streaming audio for those who can't join us. And sometimes at that live event, a student gets to meet face-to-face someone they've only known online. We're all dressed up and we spend the evening sharing laughter, good food, and congratulatory hugs. So I ask you in this year of COVID-required virtual graduation to imagine a community hug, lots of high fives, and a party. Special thanks to our graduation gala committee who have worked so hard to create tonight's celebration. Jennifer Bertinelli is our committee chair. Masha Mesyaf is tonight's producer, and believe me, it's a lot harder online than it is in person, I think. And our committee members, Jen Silvera, our student council representative, Cassie Williams, our administrative assistant, and a community volunteer, Meredith Cohen, whose friend, I think, of the family was the person playing that beautiful music as we began. I want to tell you a story about Diane Bjornson, who is MCU's founder. 40 years ago, then in her mid-30s and a mother of 6, the last 2 of those children that were born at home, felt that the available training for midwives was not, in her words, so good. It was just whatever someone could put together on their own. I thought, like any other profession, midwives needed and deserved the credential to represent their knowledge and their skills. To me, education was key. Diane's grandmother was a midwife, but growing up, like sometimes we all do, Diane didn't really pay much attention until she started having children of her own. Her grandmother being a midwife was just something she did. She says, although my first few hospital births were not that terrible, I like the idea of doing things naturally. I had a saddle block with my first birth and then twins that were born without medication. There was nothing like being able to experience all the physical and emotional feelings of birth. From then on, home birth just felt like the way for me. With Diane's vision and drive leading the way, a group of like-minded people gathered around her kitchen table and began what was then known as the Utah School of Midwifery. They firmly believe the stated philosophy that I just read in the first printed student handbook. Traditional holistic midwifery fills an important and unique position within the healthcare spectrum. It is a viable profession that functions independently and in collaboration with other healthcare professionals. It's pretty forward thinking for 40 years ago, isn't it? The Midwives College of Utah has moved from a kitchen table study group to a correspondence model with manila envelopes traveling back and forth to what is now the largest MEAC accredited distance education college for midwives. Initially, students would pay for a class whenever they could gather up enough money, and sometimes it would literally take 15 years to graduate. Now we have a trimester structure and the opportunity for federal financial aid. The first handbook lists 9 faculty members and 9 very part-time administrative personnel, and these people often volunteered their time. Now, MCU employs 48 people and has approximately 125 clinical faculty members throughout the United States. Our curriculum has always included core midwifery courses, of course, and it was very important in Diane's vision to have traditional midwifery arts be part of our curriculum. And now our curriculum has expanded to include a rich variety of social justice and mental health courses. Between 1994 and 97, so just 3 years, 13 people graduated with midwifery degrees from MCU. From 2017 until yesterday, 100 people have graduated and are practicing as midwives with an MCU MEAC accredited degree. Since 2012, MCU has committed $156,000 in scholarship funds to students from underrepresented communities who are dedicated to advance social justice and health equity in their own communities. By the way, every donation you make goes toward MCU's scholarship fund. And guess what else is kind of interesting? 60% of our graduates, many of those students out there that I see their names up here today, are practicing in medically underserved communities. More often than not, MCU staff, faculty, and alumni are publishing midwifery research articles, facilitating national discussions, and serving the profession both locally and nationally. Over the past 40 years, tremendous progress has been made in midwifery education. And in some ways, there are more options for birthing families. But in other ways, birth and postpartum care in the United States is abysmal and sliding backward. What would it be like if midwives were legally authorized to practice in all states rather than just 35? What if the United States did not have the highest maternal and infant mortality rates among developed countries? Or what if African Americans across the income spectrum and from all walks of life were not dying from preventable pregnancy-related complications at 3 to 4 times the rate of non-Hispanic white people? And what if the death rate for Black infants was not twice that of infants born to non-Hispanic white mothers? Though we do have a lot to celebrate in our 40th year, we must continue our commitment to change the crisis state of perinatal care in the US. To you, the graduates that we are celebrating tonight, you stand firmer and taller in your commitment to save lives, one birth at a time, especially in the face of a pandemic and a racial reckoning that is long overdue. Think about that on top of the usual fear and intimidation that we often feel the first time that we are primarily responsible for the safety and well-being of a birthing family. I remember my preceptor, Lorene Kingston, telling me I was ready to fly on my own, and I remember my resistance to leaving her protective wing. I think I sat in the driveway of my first birth as the primary midwife for at least 15 minutes, composing myself and praying for clarity of thought and guidance of hand. To this day, every time I pass that family's home, I remember that feeling, and I pass there actually every time I leave Alpine. Amber Cardenas, who writes of the raw bits of life as it unfolds, captured the feeling beautifully in an article she recently wrote for Elephant Journal. Amber said, "I am learning that self-liberation is not a singular experience, just as a fledgling learns to test her wings. That day, the little bird hops from the familiar comfort of her nest onto a tree limb, stretches her wings, and drops into the naked space of air is monumental. She must do this again and again, falling to the earth. She risks injury, capture, and death. This is the only way she can begin to know, to trust what she is capable of. This is the only way she can know her wings as an extension of herself. She was born a bird, but she must birth herself into flight. The fledgling learning to fly doesn't concern herself with what the other birds think about her or her process of becoming. She is not apologetic or self-conscious. She is single-minded in her purpose. She will do this one thing she was born to do, or she will die trying." MCU graduates, you have jumped from the nest. I dare say that you have vacillated between flight and free fall, leaping and resting. Flight has not come easily, as it rarely, if ever, does. But you keep trying. In earning your midwifery degree, you have acquired the knowledge, skills, and abilities to be a midwife of excellence. You have also been taught how to initiate and have difficult conversations, the kind of conversations that have the potential to make profound changes in this world. As midwives, you have the power to disrupt the business of birth by stepping forward, telling the truth about birth, and disrupting dysfunctional patterns wherever you see them. Just like Diane Bjornson 40 years ago, you believe, we believe in the unwavering premise that community birth with a trained midwife is safe, that every person deserves to birth wherever and with whomever they choose, and that all people should be treated with grace, compassion, and love. We all have different capacities, different states of resilience, and we need every single one of us to do this work. The journey to transformative justice for all birthing families has many, many lanes. Some of us will be listening. Some of us will be speaking. Some of us will be grieving. Some of us will be healing. Some of us will be teaching, and some of us will be learning. Some of us will be holding out our hands to receive new life, and some of us will fold our hands to our hearts in prayer. During our next 40 years, let it not be our differences that divide us, but our humanity that unites us. Together, we will see the changes we so desperately seek for birthing families, for our communities, and for our world. We now have the privilege of hearing from two of our graduates. Our first speaker will be Ramona Webb, who graduated with a Master of Science in Midwifery. As our graduate speaker, she is addressing us from Papua New Guinea, but of course pre-recorded. And Marivet Torres, our undergraduate speaker, recently graduated with an Associate of Science in Midwifery.
Welcome to the Midwives College of Utah graduation. Congratulations everybody who made it, and to those who are still on the way, hang in there. My name is Ramona Dank Webb, and I am coming to you recorded from Papua New Guinea on the other side of the world, and I wanted to tell you just a little bit of my journey. My midwifery journey started back when I was a zygote. You don't want the long version, do you? Okay. When I was 15, my brother was born at home, and that kind of planted the seed. So after I got a bachelor's in liberal arts and worked to pay off my loans, then I went to a midwifery school that was focused on low resource settings. So that really kicked off my interest in working overseas and with more disadvantaged populations. So I've worked in the Philippines, Sudan, Iraq, Papua New Guinea, and Colorado. Broad diversity of different settings, and I've also done other jobs in between to pay the bills. So I'm really kind of amazed that I've finished a master's in midwifery last year, because I'm not very good at organizing my own time and staying on schedule and by myself. But anyway, with the help of great mentors and preceptors and my wonderful husband, I did it, and if I can do it, you can too. I won't do a typical sort of graduation speech of reach for the stars and follow your dreams, but those are good things to do. So reach for the stars and follow your dreams. But I'm not a fancy talk kind of person. So I just want to say that midwifery is really a wonderful thing. No matter what setting it is, whether it's in like a posh hospital or in a dirt floor hut, somewhere in rural Africa. It's just really cool. Yeah. One aspect of the art and science of midwifery, I think, is something that one of my main mentors said, Vicki Penwell, is that you have to know which end of the spectrum you should be on, whether on the no intervention, low intervention, or big intervention. Like most of the time, labor and birth and breastfeeding go smoothly and it's normal and you just don't want to interrupt, you just want to support it. But then if there's a complication, you want to be watchful and ready to pull out all the stops and deal with it, because that's a big reason why we're there. So I think that's good, because sometimes we muddle along in the middle, we just fuss and fiddle and do stuff when it's not really needed, but then maybe we're not ready with our refresher training and our equipment and supplies to jump in when there's a hemorrhage or resuscitation. We need to be on top of things and ready. And it's a trick, it's that patience through long labor, but then still being ready to snap into action and let the adrenaline flow in a focused way. So it's quite a fascinating profession, I think. So I just want to encourage you all, in whether you're graduating and launching into practice, or whether you're graduating with a master's and launching into more equipped practice, or whether you're still a student and watching this, keep it up, and you are a valuable member of society, and when it gets hard to study, just get support, ask for help, try again, and try not to go down the research rabbit holes. So in closing, I want to thank Midwives College of Utah for having an affordable and rigorous master's program and allowing me the flexibility to focus on reducing newborn mortality and focus on Papua New Guinea and other low resource settings, but also providing a lot of structure and good content and guidance that helped me learn a lot more in depth than I would have on my own. So I really wish we could be together in person and I could see your lovely smiling faces, but I hope that this little video has encouraged you that you are unique, you have a special role to play in the birthing world and all the childbearing year. And thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day, wonderful life. Take care.
Hi, everyone. This is Maribeth Torres. Congratulations to everyone. Congratulations. We did it. We are graduates of Midwives College of Utah. I am so proud of us. Currently, I am a licensed midwife both in Texas and in California. In Texas, I am co-owner of Maternidad La Luz in El Paso, Texas, providing care to mostly women of colors and mostly women that only speak Spanish. In California, I am the first and the only Spanish-speaking midwife of color, Latina midwife of color in Kern County, California. I am doing what I can to build up my practice in California and help with the birth center at Maternidad La Luz in El Paso. I am very thankful that Midwives College of Utah gave me a full scholarship under their equity scholarship. It helped me be able to afford midwives school and helped me to be able to just focus on my schoolwork without having to worry about finances. Had it not been for Midwives College of Utah's equity scholarship, I wouldn't be where I am today. I would not have been able to get through it. Midwives College of Utah is a very intense college and their assignments are very, very intense. So being able to just be able to focus on those assignments was a huge blessing. And because of that, I am now a graduate. I passed NARM and I was licensed and I'm able to provide care to people in my community who don't have somebody that speaks their language. And I'm able to give that to my community. Thank you, Midwives College of Utah, for the help, for the financial help, for all the advice, for just being there for me anytime I reached out with a need. Thank you so much. And congratulations again to everybody that did this. And I'm so proud that we are able to give care to people that need it and people that really are experiencing an extreme amount of stress during this time. Thank you. Have a great day and goodbye.
Thank you, Marivet. And I see that Marivet is actually with us tonight. We were a little nervous to try doing things all around the world live. So that's why you're getting some recordings and some live. We will now hear from one of our MCU board members, Varden Hadfield. And after Varden's remarks, you will get the opportunity to watch a video that was created for Giving Tuesday. And Varden and the video will remind you why it is so important for you to consider what you might do to make sure that MCU can continue to provide the scholarship funds for our students that Marivet referred to.
Hi, I'm Varden Hadfield. And when my wife Becky first mentioned to me that she wanted to have our children with a midwife, I was worried. I remembered hearing stories from my parents about when I was a baby, I might not have survived without medical intervention, and was concerned about the environment in a home or a birthing center with a midwife. But as I researched it, read scientific articles, talked to other people who'd had children with midwives, and listened to other professionals, I became to understand that this was actually a safe alternative, that the reduced medical intervention and the ongoing personal contact really made a difference. And my wife was excited about the opportunity to have someone with her during the entire birthing process who would spend the time to help her feel comfortable. It turned out that all 6 of our children were born with midwives, and it was a tremendous experience for me, for my wife, for our older children as they were able to participate in some way with the later births. And it has really made a difference in our lives. So when I first was invited to serve on the board of the Midwifery College of Utah, I remembered our experience with Diane Bjarnson, who was the founder of the college. and her delivery of our children. Several situations, because of her skill and expertise, significant problems were avoided during the birth. And her calm and patient demeanor helped all of us feel comfortable and safe that whatever happened, she was capable of handling it. So when I first was participating on the board, one of the questions I asked was, how can we make the college tuition available and affordable to more people who may struggle in a variety of ways? People who want to help their neighbors in inner cities in America who don't have access to adequate medical care, or who are nervous or scared about going to hospitals. How can we help people struggling in other countries with access to any kind of maternal care? And I learned that we have a scholarship fund called the Full Access to Midwifery Education. Really strived to make midwifery education available to as many people as possible who were interested in helping mothers and families with really excellent birth outcomes. And the outcomes weren't just a healthy and surviving baby, but also a pleasant and positive experience for the entire family involved. As you watch the following video, please consider how you could contribute to this scholarship fund to make midwifery education available to as many people as possible from disadvantaged backgrounds, from a variety of diverse communities who may struggle with access and yet really want to make a difference to help other people have the kind of experience that I had at my home. Thank you.
Really important that we keep that scholarship going, that we give and we donate, because in my state of Missouri, before tonight, there were 0 Black certified professional midwives in 2019. And because of the Midwives College of Utah and the Breonna Black Welder Scholarship, we are able to provide accessible and affordable midwifery and doula care in urban St. Louis.
You'll notice in the chat log, Masha has included a link. If you love what you see and what you hear, donate what you can. So I encourage everybody to tap on that link. We're not going to take the time, but bookmark it in another tab. If you're on your phone, hopefully you have that up and ready. And when this evening's event is over, if you like what you see and what you hear and want to continue to support those students who benefit from our scholarship fund, please donate. I think we've got almost 100 people here tonight. And just think, if we all donated $5, $500 towards someone's scholarship. And thank you to our alumna who contributed so many of those amazing pictures. I bet you had a lot of fun seeing people you know. And Mel's crying. Mel, do you want to borrow my mask? Along with honoring our graduates, it is our tradition to announce our awards of excellence. Each year, we honor a staff member of excellence, a faculty member of excellence, a student of excellence, and this year we have added an alumna of excellence award. It's my honor to be able to tell you our staff members of excellence for this year. And all of our staff members are excellent. But these are the 2 staff members that colleagues, supervisors, and students nominated and then received the award of Staff Member of Excellence. Our first Staff Member of Excellence award goes to Tamara Tate. And I want to share with you some of the comments that students and colleagues, you can see lots of applause, that students and colleagues wrote about Tamara. Tamara is always willing to give important, thoughtful, and holistic feedback on all things MCU. Her passion for midwifery and midwifery students comes through her ideas and creative solutions. She creates a vision of equitable education and an equitable world. Her insights and contribution are invaluable, and I am grateful to call her a colleague. Another person wrote, "Through every interaction I've had with Tamara, she has tirelessly demonstrated enthusiasm, care, commitment, and excellence in support of the mission, culture, and values of MCU. She is warm and thoughtful in her collegiality, innovative in her ideas, and always, always student-centered in every thought, plan, and action. It is rare to have a colleague who is supportive yet also willing to share honest feedback. Tamara offers both in her communication and in her care. MCU is beyond lucky to have Tamara." A student wrote, "Tamara is an outstanding instructor and human. I learned so much from her course and the courageous conversations that she hosted." As the president of MCU, I have found Tamara's leadership especially valuable during this last year. Tamara is our Director of Student Life, Equity, and Access. Even though she herself was in acute pain after George Floyd's killing, she immediately reached out to remind we as leadership that our Black students needed grace, and they needed to hear from us as leadership to remind them that we are committed to do what we can to achieve equity and stamp out racism within our sphere of influence. Tamara embodies what it means to be a staff member of excellence. And I think Tamara is with us tonight. There she is. I can see her name. Our next Staff Member of Excellence award goes to Martina Craner. Martina is the house mentor for the Silver Moon House. A student writes about Martina. "Martina has been my house mentor since I began at MCU in fall of 2019. She has been in my corner cheering me on from the very first time we spoke. She applauds my achievements and offers advice when I am struggling. She's an integral part of why I am doing well in school and why I did not give up, despite an incredibly difficult winter and spring. I don't think I would still be enrolled if it weren't for having Martina's continued constant support. Words cannot express how appreciative I am of her." Another person, I think this is a colleague of Martina's, writes, "Martina goes above and beyond to help the people in her house excel. She does this with patience and understanding. I value her input and guidance." And a student says, "She helped me get back on track when I thought I was going to completely fail. I don't know what I would have done without her." And myself, as a member of our senior leadership team, we often ask house mentors, and students ask house mentors, to write letters of advocacy for them when they're seeking an exception to policy. And Martina does not send a template summation, but always provides tremendous insight about each one of her students. Her guidance helps the student and MCU work together to create a strategy of success that is based on an understanding of the student's real life lived experience and an understanding of all the possible options. Martina embodies the compassion, communication skill, and presence required of a staff member of excellence. Our award for the faculty member of excellence will be announced by Megan Coons, MCU's Dean, and she's coming to you all the way from Alaska in this recorded message, and she's here tonight. And our student of excellence will be announced by Cheryl Fuhrer, who is our Director of Student Services. And she is in Colorado and pre-recorded this message. And Val Hall, who is the MCU Board of Directors Secretary, will be announcing our Alumna of Excellence Award.
I've had the pleasure of presenting the Faculty of Excellence Award for 3 years now, and I have to say, it's one of the highlights of my year. MCU is so full of committed, dedicated, and knowledgeable faculty members, and being able to publicly recognize the work that they do gives me great pleasure. Students always nominate so many more faculty than we can award, and I would like to start by recognizing the faculty that were nominated by our students as providing excellence in education. In no particular order, they are Audra Post, Gina Gerberth, Aubrey Ridd, Mel Smith-Torval, Jodie Palmer, Ashley Halhajar, and Ruth Ann Colby-Martin. This year, there was one other name on the list. This faculty member received comments like, her investment in her students' success was like a breath of fresh air in our learning experience. And I wish I could have Susie as an instructor every term. Susie Delaney has worked for MCU for over 6 years and has taught classes including prenatal care, microbiology, scholarly research and writing, and complications of prenatal care. Susie is a member of both the undergraduate and graduate departments and has guided many students in their master's projects and theses as a primary advisor. She has worked on many syllabus updates and redesigns, always making sure that her classes use the most appropriate pedagogical methods. Personally, Susie is a joy to work with. She responds to emails promptly, communicates concerns clearly, and contributes to the faculty team. Susie has supported new and current faculty members alike by providing peer learning opportunities and by fully engaging in any material that is presented to her. And of course, Susie also shines in the classroom. As an example, I was reviewing some coursework and I came across a breakdown that Susie had completed for one of her students who was falling behind, giving the student a personalized, tailored outline with dates that set out a successful course completion. I dug a little deeper and realized that she does this for every one of her students who would benefit from it. It is this dedication that I am pleased to recognize in the Faculty of Excellence Award. I will close with some words from the students. She doesn't just seek to give straight to the point answers, but is willing to push students to think critically about how they would approach a scenario in their own practices. I knew that she cared deeply about my learning and engagement and wanted to support me in any way that she could. Congratulations, Susie Delaney, MCU 2020 Faculty of Excellence recipient.
Hi, it is my pleasure to announce MCU Student of the Year 2020. Mercedes Snyder has persistence, a clear vision, and a passion for midwifery. This determination has carried her through trials on her midwifery journey, and she has demonstrated great resilience. Here is what some of her mentors have shared as well. Mercedes is near to the end of her journey as a student midwife and has really shown these last few terms. She has above and beyond the required clinical experience, and her preceptors have nothing but good things to say about her. For example, Mercedes is thoughtful and thorough and not afraid to extend her thinking beyond what is being taught to imagining new ideas and applications for what she's learned. Mercedes gives care that is knowledgeable, kind, and humble. She listens to families and birthing people, and she manages to add her own flair of humor while still being respectful. Mercedes has a wonderful plan in place for practice after graduation, and I'm certain she will and already is a huge asset to the community she serves. MCU is so proud of you, Mercedes, and congratulations on your accomplishments.
I am honored to present the Alumnus of the Year Award to Brittany True Campbell. Here are some of the things people have shared about Brittany. True has a vision for changing maternity care, and she is making it happen. From securing grants, a building, and more, she is self-generating her power to save lives. Based in Ferguson, Missouri, she has created a safe space for Black women in a racist world. She has created educational space, prenatal care, holistic opportunities, and even gardening. She is truly being the change she wishes to see in the world and changing lives in the process. True has overcome a lot to be such an amazing resource to her community. I can say for myself that Brittany is a firecracker who will definitely make a difference in the world for the families she serves, as well as lighting a torch to show others the way.
And now the moment our grads have been waiting for. Even though many of them have officially graduated before tonight, we have the pleasure of honoring those who have graduated from April of last year to July 31st. I believe it was like April 15th of last year to July 31st of this year. And we've had people graduate since then. Like I said, somebody even graduated yesterday, and 2 people are ready to graduate today if I had had time to get their applications processed. So now join with me in our procession of our graduates. Those who have received their Associate of Science in Midwifery degree are Adria DeBayish from Washington State, Amanda Kessner from California, Anna Gilmore, who is now practicing in Colorado, Brandy Stewart from Washington State, Cassandra Aho, also from Washington State, Kimberly Collins, practicing in Missouri, Marivet Torres, practicing in California, and as you heard, also in Texas, Rebecca Burkett from Michigan, Romy Sharif from Virginia, and probably every other place in the world. Our graduates who have earned the degree of a Bachelor of Science in Midwifery are Alexandra Rounds, California, Amanda Counter from Utah, Amy Michelson Ratcliffe from North Carolina, Ashley Nicole Morton Serapis, who is practicing in California. Oh, look, Ashley's. Brianna Lee from Utah. Clarissa Baxter, practicing in Idaho. David Carter Plake in Texas. Jennifer Marsh, Washington State. Katie Hamilton, practicing in California. There's Katie's family.
Hello. Congratulations, Katie.
Katie's parents too, I think. Kendall Prophet, who is practicing in Georgia. Lauren Clark Boucher, Vermont. Libby Silva, Idaho. Melissa Mayfield, Washington State. Renee Terralumina, Washington. And our Masters of Science in Midwifery will be announced by our graduate dean, Megan Coons.
We have 3 graduates in our Masters of Science program. Ashley Jones, practicing in Washington State. Gina Gobus, who practices in Colorado, and Ramona Webb, who you heard before works in Papua New Guinea.
Congratulations to our graduates. So wonderful to see family and friends, all the people who have sacrificed with your midwife so that they can become a midwife of excellence. We have a surprise for you tonight. I called Diane on Sunday and asked her a few questions, and a few weeks before that I asked her if she would say something to you tonight as graduates. So you get to hear from Diane for just a moment.
It's been 40 years. It's hard to believe. Thank you to all the people who've made those 40 years possible. In that time, which has gone really quickly, MCU has helped train many wonderful midwives. And congratulations to all of you new graduates. The world needs midwives, and you are here to help fill that need. You are carrying on the great tradition of guardians of the heart, and you have gone to a great deal of work to be knowledgeable and competent practitioners. I hear your families cheering you on. Blessings to all of you.
Wasn't that great to hear from our founder? Congratulations to the MCU class of 2019-2020.
So proud of every one of you. Congratulations.
We hope that as we close this evening, you feel celebrated, that your accomplishment is recognized, and that you know we are excited to welcome you into the ranks of graduates of MCU. In many ways, your journey is just beginning, but know that as you continue on your midwifery path, we are here for you, to celebrate your accomplishments, to support you in times of struggle, and to offer you community, a community of those that are on the same path and have been through the same journey. To each of you again, congratulations. Have a great rest of your evening.
You can see all of the congratulations happening in the chat log. Tears of joy, some exhaustion, I think, for some of you if you've just been at a birth or you're preparing to go to a birth. I want to thank again our committee, Jennifer Bertinoli, who chaired our committee, Jen Rabins, Cassie Williams, Jen Silvera, and Masha Messia for all of the hard work producing this evening, and Meredith Cohen, who volunteered from our community. Thank you all who contributed to the graduation gala tonight. Congratulations, and onward we go to save births, save babies and births, one birth at a time. And remember that link that Masha put in the chat log. I bet she'll put it in again, just in case you forgot. I love seeing these family congratulations. High five and a virtual hug for everyone.